Today, I'm going to be teaching y'all about Aries energy. So we're starting off the signs slash houses, and we're going to start from the quote unquote beginning. Okay. So Aries is the first sign that we recognize in the zodiac. Aries is cardinal fire. We're going to look at this real quick. We're going to look at this table. So Aries is cardinal fire. Its ruling planet is Mars. Mars is associated with war, competition, soldiers, okay? Also associated with men, what men are biologically capable of doing, as well as socially programmed to do. Also related to the first house, rules the first house. First house is associated with the identity, so how you choose to identify, the mask that you choose to put on in life versus who you are on a deeper subconscious level or who you are more effortlessly. The first house rules who you are with effort. Okay. Cardinal, so it's initiating. When you think about Aries, think about a spark, right? It's not a fire that is quite caught yet, but it is a fire that is trying to happen actively. When we're talking about Pisces energy, Pisces is like womb energy. It's like imagining potential, right? Like the imagination of potential versus realizing your potential through action. That's what Mars is about. That's what Aries is about. It's about taking what could be or what you want to happen and actually putting in the physical steps that it'll take to get there, whether you fail or not, whether it's something that gets in the way of somebody else or not. All of that is irrelevant to you at this point because this is our first step in the journey. It's all about what we need, what we want, and how we can get there. And realizing the tools that we have to get there and what it'll take to get there, which more often than not is bravery, courage, independence, right? A belief in oneself, and of course the desire itself to begin with, because if you don't have a desire to start off with, and there's nothing for you to really act on and go out and get. Okay? So Aries is all about that energy. It's all about realizing what you want, forcing others to realize what they want, especially through competition, especially through, I don't want to say scarcity because that's more so Saturnian. But that's exactly what we see when Saturn starts to touch Aries. It's like you start to see a whole lot of scarcity and things just burning out literally. But yeah, so this little blurb right here, I'm going to read it for you because I wrote it. Aries is the energy of initiation, all things encompassing being the first, new beginnings, action, and initiative. In your Aries house, you're learning how to be yourself. You're taking life by the reins and understanding that some things don't happen if you don't go out and make them, especially things related to your immediate survival. In your Aries house, you could feel the need to compete for opportunities. You can move quickly and intensely into new experiences. You know, you're very adept at going big and going home in this area of your life, right? So think about it as somebody who is just, they just love being excited. That's Aries energy. Like, it can't be bored. It can't be stagnant. It can't be still for too long. It has to go through things that are enticing, whether it's negative things, whether it's positive things. Aries is completely indifferent to that. The positivity that they get from experiences is literally the experience, the journey, right? The potential that they realize in the experience, like, okay, this can go this far. And it doesn't mean that they even want to go that far with the idea. They're just satisfied knowing that the idea could go that far if they applied themselves to that level, which a lot of times, especially immature Aries, they won't. But it can really go either or with every single sign, right? You can have a healthy expression or we can have unhealthy expressions. So that competitive like drive, that like, yo, I gotta get it, and it doesn't matter what anybody feels about it, like, this is what I want and this is how I gotta get it. That energy can go either left or right, or it could be somewhere in the middle, right? So at the end of the day, that energy specifically is what we call Aries energy, and how it shows up in people's lives has to do with the different signs in different houses and how those signs alchemize with their Aries house. Different angles, right? Like say if they have Mars in Aries, which is extremely fiery, and then they have Saturn squaring Mars. So you know already you're going to have issues with impulsiveness. You're going to have issues with competition, right? You might take competition too far, or, you know, you might have you might have a hard time structuring, you know, your more impulsive like plans, or, you know, when you do decide to be spontaneous, it can be a little harder for you, you know, to make things go in an orderly fashion, right? So keep those aspects in mind. A lot of y'all are sitting here asking like, yo, are these signs compatible, or can this sign date this sign? You need to look into your chart, my guy. You need to look at your chart and see if your chart is compatible with itself. You get what I'm saying? Some of y'all have very difficult placements that you need to learn how to harmonize with yourself first before you start worrying about if, as an Aries, you could get along with a Gemini. It's much deeper than that, and you definitely gotta learn yourself first. So harmonize with yourself, alchemize with yourself, be compatible with yourself. All right, now in this area of life, you may show up impulsively and crave spontaneity, restlessness, impatience, and a confrontational attitude. Aries represents the first instance where a life form can be defined, or the traits that make it distinct from the collective. But we incarnate with our desires here on Earth to be able to materialize them in this reality, right? So there is an instance when you're born, or before you're born, maybe it's preconception, whatever. But there's this instance where your life form now, or what your spirit wants out of life, can be uniquely defined from the collective wants, or from another spirit's wants, or another spirit's desires, right? There's a certain point in our development where we realize this is what we want for us, specifically. And it's Aries energy that helps us get there. And it's Aries energy that tells us that we don't just get there through imagination via Pisces. We get there when we are actually able to act on these things, right? So learning to confidently express yourself, even when you could be wrong, is important to your vitality. And when we have a new defined goal, we need to be able to take the first step as if we were destined to succeed, and as though nothing or no one could get in our way. So that's what Aries energy is all about. If you notice, this is what, you know, they like to societally, I guess, condition men. Like, this is how they societally condition men to think. Or this is just, you know, biologically the masculine mindset as a whole really is just, okay, at the end of the day, survival of the fittest. And I need to, at the very least, exalt myself, as the fittest, even if I'm not, right? Just to have this level of, you are going to have to compete for what I have, or you are going to have to fight me for what I have. You're not going to be able to easily take what I value. It's also very Cancer. That's also very Cancer energy. But yeah, Aries naturally just being concerned about its own individualism and its own methods. Yeah, it can definitely be selfish. It can definitely verge on things like that. On the healthy side, Aries can be extremely protective. They can be great leaders, in the sense that like they're very motivating. So when you see really good like motivational speakers, a lot of times like they have very, very healthy, very strong fire placements in their chart, especially in the Aries house. You know, the way that they see competition, the way that they see people that, you know, are just as good at them in their field. Yeah, you know, they might compete still, but there's not like I need to sabotage this person type attitude, or there's not a self-victimizing attitude either. It's more so, I bring something to the table, this person brings something to the table. And even though we might not be able to team up because we're competitors, I can still respect this person from afar, and I can still understand that this person might have respect for me, or just not care. That's another thing. You get what I'm saying? Aries can be very prideful, or fire signs in general can be very prideful, because it's about exuberance. It's about expression. Your fire houses are about how you say things, how you wear your spirit in the world, whether that's verbally or through fashion or through your action. But it's about how that spirit shows up to other people. So if you're constantly concerned about how you show up to other people, you can end up, just definitely very self-consumed and unable to see anything outside of your own wants and your own identity. So just keep that in mind. Having heavy Aries placements is a powerful, powerful, powerful placement. It's a good thing to want to experience life for yourself and to not want to take everybody's information, like taking information with a grain of salt sometimes. That can be a good thing with Aries. Because sometimes people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And everyone has Aries somewhere in their chart, right? So everybody's a fool somewhere. Aries is related to the Fool card in tarot. So if this is a new era, new beginning, like this is the first time we've ever been here, the first time we've ever done something like this, right? Of course, we're going to be confused. There are going to be things that we're wrong about or things that people warn us about that we might not necessarily want to listen to because we're just so excited about the new experience. So this can be the energy that Aries takes into every area of their life if they're Aries sun, and you need to look at where Aries is in your chart to know, where this energy really shows up in your life. If you're not an Aries sun, I like to think of masculine energy as productive, and then we see feminine energy as reproductive, right? So anytime that we see masculine signs, just know that there's something that wants to be done physically. And Aries is the essence of that.